What's up, everyone? Special event here. Wanted to let you guys all in on this. So this is coming up. It's going to be available to you guys. Ultimate Golf Torrey Pines. New players is going to be what the focus is. So if you're brand new to the game, even if it's your first day, amateur, rookie, veteran specifically, this tournament is designed for you guys. When you go click on the special here, you'll see the prizes. It's gonna be a boss battle, pass or fail. I'll have the rules set up for you and everything, but basically I'm just gonna post a score. This is gonna be your guide showing you how to do all of the shots. It's gonna be a fixed bag tournament. You're gonna get to play and experience some of the best max clubs in the game. So big shout out to the guys from HIP Games who set this tournament up. So hopefully you guys appreciate and are able to benefit from this. But basically what you're looking at is fixed bag. It's going to be kind of like a showcase of all the clubs that I like to use. One of the things that I did want to just touch on briefly here is from the home screen. If you're a brand new player, I still want to let you guys know about this promo. If you hit this little tab, it's like a little megaphone button by the speaker, by the settings, sorry. And as soon as you click on it, enter promo code. There's a promo code for new accounts. Keep in mind your account has to be created this week. But if you are just setting up a brand new account, type in Zach22, hit the submit button, and you will get a special offer that is clubs. It's going to be balls. It's going to be in-game cash. So it's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys can use. Keep in mind, brand new players only. We're trying to really push getting some new guys over here and playing this game. The other thing that I just wanted to briefly touch on, you guys, which we're going to be using, is Guides for Ultimate Golf. We're going to be using this app. It's free to download in the iOS and Android store. Once you have it downloaded, you'll see this is kind of what the view looks like. Of course, under the guide section here, right at the top, this is a lot of the most recent stuff that I promote, and it's going to be right in the recent guides here. These videos are going to be in there as well. So if you want to know how to play the guides or you want to pass it along to other new users, really appreciate that because we're really making a push to just kind of show other golfers what this game is kind of headed in the direction and kind of doing some really cool tournaments for you similar to this. The only other thing that I want to point out is down here at the help section. If I go to help and I go to YouTube, just wanted to show you guys, this is my Ultimate Golf YouTube channel. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing to that or passing along the information to your friends, we are really trying to just push and make a push for more new faces over in this game, especially up in the Tour Pro level. You know, they're definitely looking to have more experienced players. Of course, I came from Golf Clash in the past, and in my experience, Golf Clash players do make some of the best ultimate golf players. So it's not like you guys have to like come over here and play full time, but if you could just check out the game, we're going to be doing cool tournaments like this all the way. So let's get started underway here. Let me go back to Ultimate Golf and let's just jump in. I want to show you guys, because even if you're a brand new player, you're going to be able to basically go in, you're going to be able to hit the enter, and you're going to have a fixed bag tournament. So here you can see we're going to be playing Torrey Pines. Here's hole number 1. And this bag here is going to be fixed. So if you want to see the clubs that we're going to be playing with, some of these clubs I haven't even played with. I still don't have Hellfire 7, so this is going to be my first look at it too. So as you can see, it's fixed. Everything's locked. But what you guys are going to be able to do, even if this is the first day in game, and this is what I was telling you guys, if you guys can push this, promote this, get this out there to your other friends and whatnot, because we're going to be doing cool stuff like this over here in the future. So if you guys appreciate this, definitely follow these guys in the Facebook group. If you guys don't know, if I go to the Ultimate Golf game group, the HIP team, which are the developers of this game, They like firsthand check all this feedback. So if you guys like this tournament, give them a shout out in the game because they do check these comments regularly. So do join that group. And also, you know, if you do like this format, let them know. That's the easiest way. They check the posts and everything. So let's get into it. As you can see, fixed bag. You guys are going to have the same cool setup that I have. So I'm going to go to my bag real quick and we're going to set this up. So this is the Guide for Ultimate Golf, which is free to download. I'm just going to parallel the bag. So you're going to see I'm going to set everything up exactly the same. Like I mentioned, some of these clubs I've never even played with. But we're going to set up the bag identical just in case we need to pull these clubs out. So in the win cup, like in the win calculator here, you're going to see all these clubs right here. They're going to be showcased right here. And this is also fixed bag, so you guys can't do much to switch this. But let's jump into things. And of course, with this app, we have good ring calculations for you. Let me just go ahead and get a basic grid set up. I want to use some grid so you guys have some kind of idea of what my ring pull is. So this guide is for you guys, especially for new players. This is going to be a really good counting app so you can see exactly how much I'm moving, why I'm moving that much, etc. So let's jump in here and we kind of have everything set up. I just want to keep things kind of basic for you guys. We'll do some +3. We're going to do a variety of balls. I want to kind of showcase this game and kind of just show you guys what this game is doing and some of the cool features involved. So we're going to do a little bit of everything. Maybe with this one, let's go Pro D1 ball. I did want to show you there is a specific Pro D. It is very specific that you use that. If you don't, what you're going to see is your ball type, it won't have the same precision. So it does change your ring size. So if you do use a Pro D, make sure you're using Pro D rings because it's very important. Now, one of the things that I did want to just talk to you guys about, of course, I haven't set anything up for Rattler yet, but one of the things that I might just kind of turn on is this spec line because it's going to be very close to Rattler. And then similarly, one thing that I wanted to tell you guys is my full screen. So let's say I turn this to the side and go full zoom out. Where the pin is, see how I'm putting the pin right on the right edge? This front edge right here, this is going to be lightning rod right here. So if I put it right to here, this is going to be where lightning rod is kind of just in perspective. So one full screen. So I don't even need a line for this. But that's what we're probably going to set up. So if you guys see guys bombing it past my tee shot, you know, it's not necessarily necessary. What you want to do is you just want to focus on getting this ball out into play. And as you can see, Pro D1 ball, 6 miles per hour, right around 6 rings. So we're going to do something very similar. So let's just give this a go. I'm going to try to split this up into 2 guides for you, front 9, back 9. But this is just giving you positioning. So keep in mind, we're being very strategic with our tee shot. Because we know our second shot, we basically want to set ourselves up. As you can see, this is exactly why I laid back. So you're seeing it firsthand. So like I mentioned, one full screen for me is essentially exactly. It's like exactly. As you can see right here, I'm like right on the exact. And this is going to be the exact same winds that you guys have as well. So hopefully you guys can benefit from this. One of the things that you'll see that I'll try to do is I'll try to really zoom in and kind of analyze that ball guide. I'll try to maybe put some backspin based on my wind angle. With a tailwind here, the ball guide's going to stretch out just a little bit more. You can see this is maybe 4 or 5 rings for max. But you got to keep in mind with a tailwind, the ball guide's going to stretch out. So it might try to extend. Even though the ball guide looks a little bit short, it might roll out a little bit more than you're anticipating. So one of the things that I'm going to try to do is just kind of maybe just gently tilt it to the right just a touch more. And if I can land here hopefully it stretches out pretty good. Keep in mind, this was probably about 5 rings for max. One of the things that I wanted to show you, this club specifically, we already have a programmable ring span for you for this club. So as soon as you download the app, your ring span should just say 62.2 for this situation. As long as you have your bag in the same situation, it should say 62.2. So we're about 5 rings from that, so we're going to get a good estimation, 16.6. This is going to give you a very good estimation of how many rings to go. Now, one thing that you need to consider is you're going to land down here in the sand. Sometimes I underpull situations like this. And the reason why, I'm pulling to lower ground. You see how the green is way up here? And there's 10 rings right there. So I might underpull 16.6. And the reason being is because we're under. So as you can see, maybe this is maybe 6.5. And it's mostly because we've pulled down into the sand. Like, look at where the target is. So this is a lower ball guide, so it's going to be less affected by wind. So up on that green surface, it's high. Up down here into the bunker, it's going to have just a little bit lower target, which means it's less affected by wind. So let's just give this a go. Either way, like I was mentioning, we're going to be in the ballpark. So this is going to be a very good ring adjustment. But basically, just wanted to let you guys know this is going to be fixed winds, and we're going to have really good opportunity to make some shots. As you can see, we already made the first one. So already off to a great start here. And that was just slight underpull by me. But as you can see, especially with the Pro D1 ball, very good way for us to get very aggressive with that first hole. And as you can see, we already dropped a shot. So we are off to a good start. Here we are, hole number 2. And you're going to see front pin here. This is a pin we can get aggressive with. So we're going to get aggressive with it. Now, I might just back off on the ball. Like I mentioned, I want to give you guys a good feel of this game. So in this situation, let's maybe go Mojave. I want you guys to kind of see a little bit of everything. Now, one of the things that you do want to definitely do is you want to try to stay aggressive enough that you get onto the green. So don't make yourself ever in position to not get tiebreaker points. The way tiebreaker points work on this game, you have to be on the green to get the bonus points. You can see on that last one, if you looked at my scorecard, it was 999. I can still pull my scorecard up. So if I would have been on the green, most I could have got is 900. I get 999 for the bonus make. So 99 points for a bonus make. Similarly to this. So you never want to leave this on the front edge. So keep in mind, we're at the max line. This is another plus 7%. This is a Mojave. It's plus 7%. We're going to go 9.4. Now, one of the things that I want to let you guys know, the ring data that was designed for this assumes backspin. So in this case, we're going what? Full top spin, meaning we have to overplay. How much overplay? It's going to take some feel. Now, this is the one feel component that you're going to want to use, is you're going to want to be able to figure out how much do we need to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do overplay, and I'm thinking maybe somewhere around, let's just try something like this, 13, 15%. I have a pretty good feel for this, but you also see what I'm doing with the ball guide, keeping it up to the left here. Let's just kind of shift this in just a little bit. You got to keep in mind there's some missing ball guide. It's going to kind of roll out this way. You can kind of see where my alignment is. But this is plus 13%, is very close to almost 1 per ring. So why don't we just do 1 per ring right here? So 9.4, and you can see I'm just a little bit inside. Full bullseye is 10, so I'm just inside 1 full bullseye. And then we're just going to let this go right here. See if I can just pull this down a little bit. And like I mentioned, you do want to be just a little bit careful, especially with your power and everything. Make sure you're not overpowering. Make sure that you're, pretty good with your ring pulls. And just a little bit light, but you can see very aggressive to the right. Better off being through the hole than short of it. As you can see in this case, I got 1500. You could have got, You can make slight tweaks on what I just did, and you can improve on my 1500. Keep in mind, you have the same wind, same club. So this is a really good feel for you guys to really learn this game and be able to do a fixed club tournament. So keep in mind, that's the reason that we're putting this out there, is for your guys' benefit to learn the game. And we're going to be doing more cool stuff like this. So like I mentioned, if you haven't downloaded yet, if you haven't told, other clan members or whatnot, like definitely, if you guys can start driving some people over here, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. And we're going to be doing some tournaments like this. It's going to be based off of, the success of this one, of course. But that's kind of the goal, is to give you guys something really cool and a really cool experience. So as you guys can see here, here's the max line. This is the first time that I'm playing this club. So you guys are going to see it the way that I see it. Now, one of the things that I want to show you guys is I wanted to do kind of a cool ball for you guys. So I'm just going to kind of pan through my options here. And I was going to grab something these are one of the tournament balls that you can win for free over here. I was just going to try to grab it. I'm not sure why I don't have usually I have the menu where I can just select it. A little bit different in this tournament for some reason. But these are the ones that I was talking about, the trophy balls. So these trophy balls have basically special abilities, special length, as you can see. And also, look what it's doing to the wind. 3 miles per hour. Like, this is for you guys. Like, a great opportunity for you guys to be able to drop this. So here you're going to see we're going to be a couple rings for max in this situation. Maybe I could even scale back and just do like a vet at 3/8. So this is about 2 rings for max with a vet. So let's just get this situation set up. 2 rings for max. So we're going to pull 2 rings for max. I'm not sure what ring span. Actually, so this one I don't have data for yet. So let's just first, real quick, just get an idea of what data is. So that's 10 rings for max. There's 20 rings for max. There's 30 rings for max. 40 rings for max. 46 rings for max. One thing that I just wanted to mention, if you never see that, it's because I don't even have this club yet. So still in the early stages. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to set that ring span. Keep in mind, once you set that ring span, it's going to fix it for you. So if I put it at 46 rings, it's going to always stay 46. We're 2 rings for max. What this is doing, it's just giving you better data. So you're going to know that you can trust these values better, the ring data that it gives you. Keeping in mind that Rattler 7 is always going to be about whatever that was, 36, was it? 46. So 46 rings. Plus 7 versus plus 8, plus 9, whatever it is, it's going to be very negligible. 5.2 either way. So we're going to go about 5.2 rings. And we also have to keep in mind wind effect. So let's go full-ish backspin. And like I was mentioning, wind effect is important here. So one of the things that you'll see that I'll typically do is maybe offset just slightly. And you can see what my offset looks like. You can also see with where I'm trying to land, kind of basically pin high. So I'm landing pin high, a little bit of right brake, and then what's going to happen with this right pointed wind, it's just going to deflect just a little bit more. So if you see it right here, it's going to deflect just a little bit more than this. So let's just try to land here, 5-2 rings. And you can see that I have a good counter for that. So 5-2, just a little bit beyond 5. Try to keep it as straight as you can. And this is for your guys' benefit more than anything. I'm just trying to show you guys the line so you guys can have good success with this hole. Keep in mind that it's probably backspinning, but maybe not as much. Now, one of the things I want to point out, you see I got great shot. it should convert to ultimate. And you can see that it did. And it's because I landed so close. So close. My timing was so close to ultimate shot. That's one of the greatest things about this game. You can see I still got perfect ball. And we were able to make the shot. So very aggressive. That's my first time playing that hole, and I already got a hole-in-one with it. I've never even played that club before. This is my very first time for that club. So really cool thing, you know, just happened there. And you can see we got the drop. You know, hopefully you guys can do something similar. You know, you don't have to use the same balls that I am if you don't have them. I just wanted to kind of just showcase some of this stuff for you. So we are going to back off here a little bit. And I'll kind of show you guys also some of the, you know, the free-to-play balls as well. We're going to do a little bit of everything for you guys, just so you get a nice, good, generic feel of everything. So let's go loop here. Loop's going to keep the wind high. Especially with this hole, what you're going to see is it's going to try to roll out to the rough here. If I was to go back to the fusion ball, plus 3%, 9 rings or so. So here's 5. Let me get this grid back on. Seems to have locked me out of the app. So let's do 9 rings and then no overpower. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm not even, if you saw, I wasn't even worried about position. Keep in mind, most guys, they're worried about position on first shot, second shot, getting it to those nice ranges. So in this situation, we're just going to play it off. I was hoping to maybe get it to rattler distance again, and we can just mess around with this rattler. I wanted to give you guys a couple shots with rattler, a couple different situations. Ah, just short. I think we could still do it, though. One thing I did just want to show you guys. Oh, no, I can't. If it wasn't fixed tournament, I did want you guys to know that if I switch to Orion, since the power numbers, look how shorter the power is, 19 yards. You can open up this distance for this long iron by putting on the short iron. So I do want you guys to know that we could still go with this lightning rod down here on the front of the green if we could set up Orion. Now, the only reason we can is because this tournament's fixed. So we're going to just play this straight up, and we're going to play the ball guide. There's a lot of ball guide, barely anything missing. So we're just, I wanted to play a couple rattler shots for you guys and just kind of have it all over the place. Now keep in mind, like I was mentioning before, this ring data, it assumes max backspin. So if you're not going max backspin, you got to account for that. So let's just see first off, how much are we from max? This is about 3 from max. So we're going to pull this down just slightly, ever so slightly. But keep in mind, this ring data, like I was mentioning, assumes that you are at the max and that you are using your backspin. So since I'm using, you could see that I was set up to use essentially no backspin. So there's no backspin here, which means that the 14.1 is probably light on the adjustment because there's extra wind effect not associated with. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to make sure that we overpull this because of the backspin discrepancy. Since we don't have backspin on this one, so I'm thinking maybe even, and also it assumes kind of a light wind. So I'm thinking almost maybe 14.7, 14.8. We're going to go really aggressive here. So instead of 14.1, we're going to go like 14.8. So it's significantly more. Now, but watch this ball though. Watch how it comes in. Because you're going to see, instead of it bouncing straight, it's going to bounce much more to the left. So you can see it's just kind of taking left effect. So even 14.8 in that situation was light. Now keep in mind, it would have been pretty solid had we had full backspin, because instead of it rolling out that far, it would have just basically stopped where it landed. So it's going to be a better estimation. But keep in mind, look how close we were able to get. So we went about 14.8 in that situation. 14.1 was the adjustment. If you want to put an actual number to that, that's like 4% downhill. This is just giving you a reference point, because if you see a similar situation, or if you want to play this hole the exact same way, maybe you do the exact same tee shot I did, and you maybe try like 15.1, 6% downhill, and maybe you get the drop. So I'm just kind of teaching you guys, honing you guys in, so you guys can get that adjustment down, hopefully even beat me. That's the goal here, is that you guys knock my score off. So let's keep rolling. One of the things I wanted to show you, look at this hole, straight tailwind almost. So with that being said, we're going to put a special ball in place. One of the best balls in the game I want you guys to be aware of. They promote this ball a pretty decent amount. It's similar, especially if you played Golf Clash before, it's like a snow globe. So they have a version over here. Typically, you don't have to do this span thing. I don't know if this is a fixed feature, but you can see I have to kind of span through my balls the long way, which I usually don't have to. But this ball is so long. Like, it is going to go so crazy long. So let's just kind of play the fairway, kind of get our alignment down. Let me just go ahead here, get back into the guide. Sometimes I get locked out because I have like special privileges. This power ball itself is pretty large power ball. So we're going to do something like this, 10%, 12. You can see it's almost, and like I mentioned, since we're using top spin, we're going to want to overplay this. So maybe even 1 per ring, something like this. 1 per ring. So why don't we just do that? We'll just use 1 as our number. Maybe even a little bit more would not hurt. This is also going to have a very slow needle speed. So I went about 13 rings there. After going 13 rings, I'm just going to pull straight up. So as you can see, I'm just taking this line and just going straight up. Make sure that you have full top spin on. And like I mentioned, look how slow this needle is. So this ball has special effects. Even if you miss your ultimate shot, you're probably going to convert a lot into ultimate shots. But look at how long it's going. Oh man, I should have just put some curl on it. So a little bit off course. With that being said, this is still going to be a very easy pitch. So I'm not overly concerned about this. Keep in mind, one of the things that I wanted to tell you guys was about the way that wind plays in this is a little bit different. So here's a scaled voodoo. Here's a scare hive. And these are like 2 different. So since we're in the rough, we're going to use scaled voodoo. But one thing that I wanted to just make you guys aware of, especially for this game specifically, of course you can use top spin with these clubs because they have a lot of ball guide. So this club specifically has a lot of ball guide, so we can kind of put this up. What I'd like to do with this scaled situation is just kind of size it up. And you can kind of see where this is only like maybe 15%. This whole thing is 100% of the full span. And the target is right there. You can see it's like right there. It's only about 15%. I want to just show you guys the way that wind plays in this game, because voodoo at 15%, let me just show you the number. It's super tiny. So that's one of the easy things about this game, is it's going to be a very, very tiny adjustment. It's showing you here maybe a ring, just a little bit more. But let's just see what the result of 1 ring of movement, or even 2 rings of movement. Even if we went 2 rings of movement, what's the totality of this? Left, maybe right edge. So it's a very, very small adjustment. And if you would have kept it in the fairway, it goes even a little bit less than this. So very tiny adjustments, and your ultimate shots convert rather easily. But here you can see it coming in. Oh, so it came in just a little bit hot there. So we got the adjustment down, but we needed to almost just keep the ball guide short, and maybe just play that break just a touch more. Because the adjustment there looked pretty spot on. It even went over the cup very good opportunity for you guys to get that. Like I mentioned, if you would have kept it in the fairway, got maybe an extra 5 or so miles per hour of run out than I got, you definitely would have really had a great opportunity there to hold that. There's no reason I should have missed that. That should have been considered a slam dunk. So that's kind of one of the things that I just wanted to kind of show you guys, is very good opportunities, especially once you get a lot of these max clubs. You're definitely going to have some really cool shots and everything that you can pull off. And very small ring adjustment, especially for that situation. Let me just close that one down real quick. And if you guys remember from hole 1, we're going to try to set ourselves up very similar to that. If you guys remember what we did on hole 1, we intentionally laid up to lightning rod range and we made the shot. We're going to do something very similar here. Like I mentioned, typically you don't have to span through the balls like this, but for some reason I am. It's just some kind of special privilege tournament here. You should have a little tab up top there that says swap ball. Mine's just not popping up for some reason. But what we're going to do is we're going to basically just set ourselves up for lightning rod. So like I mentioned, with my device, it's kind of like one full screen. So somewhere right around here, maybe just a hair more. We just want to make sure that we're within one full screen. Just a little bit more topspin here. And if you guys remember from the last hole, it's almost about 1 per on this club. So I'm just going to kind of wing this. It's very easy to keep the ball in the fairway on this game, so I'm not going to get too critical. We're going to use a Mojave in this situation, par 5s, a little bit of length. We want to keep it in range when we can. All things considered, I'm assuming that's pretty good. Like I mentioned, it's just kind of setting myself up for the next shot. So here you can see, here's the max line up here. And we are maybe 10, 15 rings from that. Let's say I set up right here, it's 15 rings for max. This is maybe 18 rings for max. So let's try to set up something similar to that. Now this one has a lot of left break, so you're going to see that I'm naturally just going to put right spin onto it. Something to the effect of this. And this is maybe, what did we say? 13 rings for max, give or take. So we'll use that for our adjustment. I got kicked out of my thing again. Sorry about that, guys. Like I mentioned, I do have special privileges, so it just kind of, it works a little bit wonky on my device. We're going to do 9/8, about 13 rings for max. Put the wind direction in, 25 rings. So as you can see, a very substantial adjustment. Now, one thing I just want to point out to you guys is we might be pulling off to the green into the lower ground. So definitely something that you want to consider on this, but also keep in mind that you're pulling a little bit long as well. So this might be a situation where you don't necessarily, especially with a large wind mile per hour, if it would have been a smaller, maybe I'd underpull a little bit. Since it's a large wind, I don't think I should be underpulling this. So we're probably going to go pretty true here. So let's zoom out a little bit just so we can see around this tree. And there's 10 rings right there for you guys. We're good at counting the rings. It's one full bullseye we just pulled. Going to pull another one full bullseye. Maybe this next one becomes a little difficult, so we spin around. You can already see we're in the bunker. So anytime you go to the bunker, a little bit tougher to make, for sure. But 15 rings, I'm thinking for this situation, I'm going to go at least 15 rings, maybe even just a little bit heavy. So even if I overpull this just slightly, just because of wind effect, why not? That looks pretty good. Maybe just a hair more than 25 in this situation. Let's just give it a go. And just watch these bounces, because this is important. This is like wind effect. Oh, just a little bit heavy. So just a hair heavy. I was over pulling slightly. I think I went just beyond 25. So if it says 25.4, I probably went at least 25.1, 25.2. If you go kind of spot on or maybe just a hair under 25, it'll be pretty perfect. Keep in mind we had a lot of right spin on there to counter the break, so that's why I kind of straightened out the line. It wouldn't have straightened out the line if we would have just kept straight backspin. So keep in mind you're going to get a lot of green break to the left there, but our wind effect is what helped that stay to that side spin to counter the wind effect is what really straightened that one out. So let's play this one similar. Switch up the ball though. I've been kind of, giving you guys a little bit of everything is kind of the goal here. You guys can pick and choose whatever you guys want to do. But what I recommend is kind of setting yourself up in the same similar club types. So if you see that I'm laying back to a specific reason, or specific range, there's probably a reason. So that's what we're going to do here. And you can see I'm just kind of pulling up on the guide. We're going to try to keep it inside one full screen. So that's exactly what you see that I'm doing here, is maybe right around here. And then we'll just do kind of what you saw me do on some of the other holes. We'll go about 9 rings, maybe just a little bit heavy. And that is derived from this. So if my wind was 9.7, it's right around 9 rings. Should be another really good situation for the lightning rod. So we've really been setting ourselves up for this lightning rod. Of course, this is a +3 ball. Let's see what our wind is. 9.5, our wind angle, we're going to set up in this direction. As you can see, that's the direction that they're giving me. The only thing that we don't know is rings for max. In this situation, we should have drove it just a tad more. Biggest reason is because of this. You can see I did well with the pin, but I didn't make enough room because you can see this is going to be 25 rings, so I got to make sure that I'm setting up down here, unfortunately. And you can see that's going to make me even have to utilize some topspin. So if you guys can overdrive me a little bit, is what I would definitely recommend. But you can also see that I'm keeping the ball guide through the hole. That's very critical to what you're doing. And then this is probably about 20 rings for max. This is the wind angle. So if you set yourself up similarly, it's giving me 24.30. Since these are at an angle, I'm hoping I have enough room. Keep in mind, in this situation, just similar to the last one, and then keep in mind that you can see that my ball guide's through the hole. Watch this collapse down, especially as it goes towards max club. So you can see I'm keeping the ball guide through intentionally. Then we're also going to go at least, I would say at minimum in this situation, 24.3. So you can see that's, and you can see even that's 20 right there. I'm going to go 25. We'll probably go full overpower just to make sure this lands on the green. 25 plus full overpower. We want to make sure this lands on the green. And just focus on this this timing here. Ultimate shot is your best friend, so if you can grab it, definitely a good thing. But let's just see how this rolls out. This is one of the things I wanted to see. So you can see the ball guide was still through the hole and it still comes up short. So getting that wind down to a smaller number makes that ring adjustment so much easier. I try to usually shoot for like the 4 to 5 mile per hour range and utilize a lot of good balls in this game. Of course, you don't have to. But as you can see, getting the wind down, playing less wind effect, you can see that ball guide severely got collapsed down. So I had the ball guide well through the hole and it still came up short. So definitely keep that in mind for your own shots. And let's jump in hole number 8 here. Probably going to do something very similar. I like to use lightning rod for this hole. So why don't we set up very similar. 9.6, we'll utilize the side spin to the right. And just try to land on the front of this green. And one thing, this is the max line, so we're just going to count down. That's 10 rings. That's 20 rings. This is about 30 rings, give or take. So let's just call this 32 rings. Same type of thing. We're going to keep this a little bit through the hole. And you can see that right here because I know it's going to collapse down. Keep in mind, look where I am, right at the very front of the green. I'll probably land here. And you're going to see that it still lands short. So let me just go ahead. I got to get this subscription back. Sorry about that, guys. Like I mentioned, I kind of have like a weird subscription because I have to test and also play. So I have to be in both zones, so it just kind of makes mine work a little bit wonky. So we did get kicked out there. Apologize for that. Hopefully you guys, you know, if you're using it, you're not having the same issues as I do. Like I mentioned, you know, the reason that I get that is because of that special subscription. But here, this is looking like 9.6. You can see the wind angle, 33 rings for max. And this is giving me, with a +3 ball, about 23 and a half rings. So we're going to go real close to 23 and a half. And you can also see that I'm keeping the ball guide through the hole as well. So 23 and a half. A little bit of extra rollout on this one, so a little bit heavy might not be bad. This might be about 23.8. Maybe about 23.8 here. But let's just look at where everything lands. So you can see it lands pretty good, but some over effect to the left. So you can see a lot of wind effect for this. This is like an uphill shot. So keeping the wind smaller is going to make it just a little bit easier, but you can see we still get in there close. All we needed, just a little bit more counter spin. Since this hole's uphill, you see that the bounces bounce a little bit more to the left, especially in high winds. So you see the wind pointed like that. If you want to try to keep those bounces on line, you got to kind of offset your guide or kind of side spin it a little bit more aggressively to the right. But all things considered, not too bad there. We're just going to keep going away here. Typically what I try to do on this one is I try to get this out there as far as possible. So we use a Mojave. Just kind of hit this one all the way up there. A little bit of headwind. About one per ring. Maybe just a little bit of a side spin counter. Of course, we hit a great shot. I'm hoping our timing was good enough. But like I mentioned, you have a pretty good room for error with these good clubs. So you don't have to worry about one ringer going offline. But the goal here is to kind of get ourselves a nice another look here with the lightning rod. I'm not sure if we got in the range. Here's where the lightning rod is. Just a hair out of range. You can see this Hellfire is just a short, very short range, but why don't we go for it? This is about what, 5 or 6 rings in this situation. This one should be filled in. Let me see if I have that. Yep, 5.9. So this one already is filled in for you guys. So you guys don't have to do a ring span for this. It's going to give you 5.9 no matter what. Let's just say we're 5 rings for max, very close to the min line. This is giving us about 8.8 rings down here. Keeping in mind that we might be pulling to a little bit higher green here. So if the green is here and we're pulling up here, it might be just a little bit higher ground, just slightly. So you might need to just kind of over pull a little bit. See also what I'm doing with the ball guide, keeping it very aggressive to the hole because it should collapse down just a touch on a headwind. So 8.8 in this situation. Maybe just even a hair over pull would not hurt you in this situation. But nevertheless, like I mentioned, you know, should be kind of close either way. maybe just a hair light there. Even going into the 9s in that situation, right around 9 rings. But you can see we got it real close, gave it a really good attempt, and we finished out a really clean card here. Now, I did want to break this up for you guys in 2 parts. So this is part 1. Just to recap, let's look at the scorecard. So we have -14 with a lot of opportunities to make. We could have made shots on a lot of these holes. We did get 1, 2, 3 to start off. We got eagle, eagle, eagle. So we started off strong, kind of fell off a little bit. A lot of opportunities there. So keep in mind, real aggressive. And with these clubs, some really great opportunities. And you guys can really put up some really impressive numbers. So do keep all that in mind. Try to do what you guys can with these holes. Hopefully you guys can get some drops. If you guys are using this ultimate guide for ultimate golf app, like I mentioned, these guides in the top section, they're going to be critical for you. So these are going to be where the most recent videos are. It's going to be a very easy way for you to launch and learn the game of ultimate golf in a very timely fashion. Similarly, down here in the help section, a lot of great resources for you guys, wind calculator, club calibration. It just kind of teaches you a little bit about the tool. As you can see, I haven't even been using club calibration, but it is there. It's a feature. It's mostly for very experienced high-level players. So if you're new to the game, you can kind of skip over that one. But the wind calculator, the bag setup, the online communities, like I mentioned, here's my YouTube. This is my channel for Ultimate Golf. The easiest way to follow me and keep up with the latest information is to subscribe to this channel. And if you don't mind, passing along the information to your friends as well. Highly appreciate that, as we're going to be creating a lot of really good content for you guys and doing what we can to do more tournaments like this is the goal. So if you guys like this, like I mentioned, if you don't mind, in the Facebook group, in the Ultimate Golf group, if you don't mind joining this group and, you know, just kind of shouting out the developers or whatever, this is a really great opportunity, really cool thing that's happening. They do keep up with the comments in this group. This is their group, not mine. So keep in mind, if you do have some positive feedback, please do relay that to this group and they will see it. So best of luck there. Like I mentioned, try the best that you can in this tournament. If you're brand new, do go into the Ultimate Club, the Ultimate Tournament here, Ultimate Golf app. Let me just back out real quick. I just want to show you if you're a new player. Highly recommend. And if you know some guys who are just coming in, up here next to the settings, at the megaphone, enter promo code ZAC22. I'm going to put this in the description of the video as well. If you use this brand new account, if you started it this week, you're going to get free balls, free cash, and free clubs just for downloading and putting this code in. So nothing else is necessary. All you have to do is download the app, put this code in. So definitely pass that along if you guys don't mind. Best of luck out there. I will see you guys on part 2 coming up. Take care, guys.